Hey guys, Sekapoko here, bringing another episode of One Piece Treasure Cruise. Worth it or not worth it when it comes to limit breaks? Well, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit the like button down below and the subscribe button down below to help support the channel. If you do want to get the notifications on all the Sekapoko content, make sure you go to my channel and hit the bell notification button so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Without further ado, let's get into limit breaking. So, we left off last time, I believe, at the Boa Sendersonia, and we went over Boa Marigold and a lot of other characters, and we went over a few legend units as well. So the first unit today is going to be the new rare Jinbe. I think this is the quick one. Yeah, it is a quick one. So this is the one. This is the really good Jinbe. This is the secret Jinbe. We can only pull on the secret banner. His captain ability is like super good. He basically replaces Legend Jinbe. So as a character, he's like really good. His character captain slot character limit break gets an additional socket, which is really good. And he's also going to get a sailor ability, which makes strength and dex orbs beneficial for this unit. That part's pretty cool. I do like that a lot. That's actually really cool. And the fact that he's a quick unit and he's going to, if your character is a fighter character, change adjacent orbs into matching and lock the chain multiplier 2.5, makes it so you can actually use this character on a Lucy team to get 3 matching orbs, plus you can get chain lock, which is really cool. So I definitely say this is a nice character overall. He does get a decent stat increase. It looks like he gets at least like 60 attack, somewhere around there, 55 or something like that. 65 attack. Yeah, the extra 65 attack, kind of okay. The sailor ability is kind of cool. I do like that, and the extra socket's good. Overall, this is a really great unit in general. So I'd say this character is a good unit, and if you are going to be using any kind of limit break on this guy, it could be worth it. I'd say it's a back burner, not really going to be like a frontline unit you're going to want to limit break right away. Definitely a back burner unit that is worth it to limit break later on. Probably not right now. Next unit, we have the new Secret Akainu. Secret Akainu already maxes at 1505 attack, which is really bonkers high already. Super good. His sailor ability number 1 makes strength orbs beneficial. That's really nice. And then next is going to make int orbs beneficial for driven characters. If you're using this character as a sub, this is super worth it. I definitely like this unit because he is, as a unit, very strong to have a character give all orbs matching for one type. Super good. It's just like the Conjuro sailor ability. It's just like the powerhouse, the raid Sanji ability. This is a really good one. It's gonna be really hard to get all his like enrage and bind cell reduction on him, which is not really that important on this character. But definitely the sailor ability is like super good. So I definitely recommend getting this character down max limit broken if you are thinking about doing a driven team. Definitely worth it in my book. Next up, we have Bon Clay. Bon Clay is going to be a so Bon Clay was a little I'm kind of iffy on. So he is the only character in the entire game that removes all positive buffs besides Legend Cavendish, who then applies the buff right after. So if the special is activated with more than 58 HP remaining, then you also get prevent death, which is also pretty cool, which means that you can, if you're on like the Sanji fight and you pop the special first, it removes like the positive buffs that you have on your character, and then it makes it so that you can prevent death. So you don't need the damage reducer, you just prevent your own death, which is kind of cool. His first thing on his limit break is that he gets another socket, which is nice. He goes up to, I think it's 5 sockets. Yeah, 5 sockets. And he's also going to acquire the sailor ability, which is special rewind, which is really cool. I do like that he gets a special rewind here. That is actually a really good limit break to have special rewind, and you get the extra socket. So overall, this character would be worth it if there was a situation where you needed it. Right now, I don't know of a situation currently on Japan where you're really going to need to limit break this unit. But overall, this is a good limit break. I do like this limit break. It's a back burner limit break right now, but definitely worth it for later on. Hanyabal. So we have Int Hanyabal. Int Hanyabal is actually a really cool unit. He's one of the first 1.75 conditional units in the game, but he only does it off Coxet. He's really good for the Magellan teams. Very cool unit. His sailor ability gives recovery and TND beneficial for this unit if your captain is a driven character. He gets an additional socket, more HP, as well as a special cooldown and pinch healing. Overall, I'd say this is not worth it. He doesn't really have the best limit break in the world. Not a lot of things on this unit would make it really worth it. His attack stats are in the 1300s already, so I mean, you're not going to really need this character to be like over the moon really good. And the only teams that he's really viable on is the Magellan teams, because that's the only times you actually get to use his ability. He also reduces damage by 2 turns, which is really cool. But like honestly, you're only going to use this character on Magellan teams, and I don't even know when on Magellan teams you're going to use this. So. Going to the next unit, we have Emporio Ivankov. This is a really good Ivankov. In general, this is actually a really, really good unit. It's a 4-turn Orb Minimizer, or a 7-turn Block Orb Matching Orb Changer, or a badly matching Block Orb Changer on 10 turns, which is all good. All of that is good. Like, as a unit, this is a very, very cool unit. I do like this unit a lot. Sailor ability is really weird. That you get on this character. Initially, this character just completely was paralyzed, which is really good. But in the Limit Break version, he gets, when any other Free Spirit character uses a special, it's going to reduce his own special by 1 turn. So, let's say you use your special really early on in a fortnight, and you like randomize like really mismatching orbs, or you want to use it on the 7-turn cooldown, and you get change block orbs to the magic on really early on. And then you get into the final room of the fight, and you're like, okay, so I had a early stage in a fortnight, and then in the later stage in a fortnight, now I have to pop all my other specials and rewind the special even further. That's pretty cool. To be honest, if I was a newer player, not worth it. If I'm a late game player like myself, and I'm like gonna do super speed teams, this is pretty cool. Overall, this is definitely worth it, but it's a back burner unit worth it. It's gonna be used for very niche teams for speed farming. Very, very cool otherwise. So I'd say worth it, but it can wait. All right, so the next unit we got on the list is going to be Jinbe. Jinbe is overall kind of a meh unit in general, but he is one of the 2 units in the game that get rid of the chain multiplier limit and chain multiplier cooldown, which is really useful because it is starting to become a thing. But his captain sailor ability is going to boost the HP of all characters by 40 if your captain is a fighter. So that's kind of an additional socket or whatever. This is not worth. I'm going to say this is 100% not worth limit breaking. Definitely not like a super good limit unit to limit break. It's really meh for a limit break. So pass on that one. Next is going to be Legend Magellan. Obviously, all legends are kind of worth doing in general. You're just going to have to figure out when you want to be doing it. This first sailor ability is cannot be blown away, which is pretty unique. There's only a couple characters in the game that have this sailor ability, which is pretty cool. Second, sailor. Where's the sailor? Is there a second sailor? I don't think there is a second sailor. You only get 1 sailor ability. In general, the thing that makes it really cool for this limit break is this pinch healing thing. And it makes it so that if you're below 30% at the start of the turn, it's going to heal for 3 times the recovery at the end of the turn each time you hit a perfect. So that's kind of cool because he actually scales up recovery. So it's going to be a nice little heal there. And with max limit break, you do have a decent chunk of recovery. I think it'd be well over 400, maybe even in the 500 range after plus 100 recovery. As far as recovery goes on this limit break, I'm not really sure what the stats are. I can actually go check real quick. Let's see, limit break Magellan. If you fully limit break him, you get an extra 100 recovery. So that's 491 recovery, which means each you're gonna be for every perfect you hit below 30% is gonna be a was that 3 times recovery? So almost a 1500 heal. So you're gonna heal for 1500 extra every time you hit a perfect. That's pretty good. It's pretty solid. I mean, it's like 14. Yeah, it's like 1470. I think it is 1470, 1468 or 7 or something. Yeah, 1467, I think. So that's pretty solid. I like that. That's pretty cool. I mean, this is really hard to get, but overall, that's pretty good. You get barrier penetration, where you get ignore barriers, and then reduce no healing duration, which is also pretty good. I do like the limit break ignore barriers. He is a pretty cool unit to limit break. Where he falls, he does get 1 chart special reduction. There's no real reason to do the limit break though, to be honest. Besides it being cool. And getting the pinch healing, I mean, you could really just get to level 4 in the limit break tree, and you're done. Like, you don't need the cannot be blown away. You don't need the barriers and all that stuff. You don't like the extra stats are nice, but like, I'd say this is kind of a back burner. You could kind of go to level 4 and just stop if you really wanted to. Unless you're gonna get the max pinch healing, it's really not worth it in my opinion. It's definitely worth it in the long run later on, but like for right now, it's kind of a back burner. Next is going to be Raid Vergo. Now, Raid Vergo is a farmable unit, so that is really, really cool. And he does have a limit break path, but they didn't go into it, which is really annoying on the database. So let's go ahead and go to Raid Vergo over here. Raid Vergo is going to have lower Woods cooldown by 1, get an extra socket, and gain a Sailor ability. The Sailor ability for Vergo, I believe, is 25 stats to striker characters. I think it's attack. I think it's 25 attack. Overall, he does get decent stat increase, and his limit break abilities are reduced damage taken by strength characters by 5%, and then the other Sailor ability is the same. Are they both the same? Are they both damage reduction? That's really funny. I don't know if that's a typo or not. But he does. I think he reduces damage. But we'll have to see if he loses damage or worth it or not. Overall, I'd say hold off on this guy. This is probably not a worth it thing unless you really need a lot of damage reduction. His captain ability does reduce damage taken, which is kind of cool. But I'm not really sure if it's worth getting this guy fully limit broken yet, unless you really need a lot of damage reduction. So I'm going to say not worth it for now. Maybe worth it later. But overall, this is a no. Next we're going to have Law. It's going to be Int Law. It's a secret law. Now, Int Law is actually kind of interesting. He's a 1.5 color affinity booster and change middle row to matching. The thing that makes this guy use way better than the other affinity booster, which is Tashigi, is that it's on a 7-turn cooldown versus like an 18-turn cooldown or something ridiculous, which is so much better. I mean, having that long of a cooldown is really better than that. And he's also one of the best slasher captains in the entire game. He's a 3.25 captain after the 3rd perfect in a row, which is really good. But what's funny is that like people just forget about Psylaw all the time because he needs a better special. To be honest, he just needs a better one. As far as this character goes, he gets completely resist silence, which is kind of cool. I can definitely see a use for that at some point on this type of character for reducing silence, and it definitely makes it so that you can reduce paralysis by 1 turn for the second Sailor ability. Overall, I'd say this is worth getting half limit broken, not like fully limit broken. Maybe for the additional socket, you can go all the way, but to be honest, this law is kind of iffy on if it's worth it or not. I'd say the completely resist silence is a really good Sailor ability. Color affinity, however, is one of those things that I am kind of against, and the main reason for that is because the only character that does good color affinity is a Neo Akainu or Kai Akainu, as well as Raid Akainu, and that's because they only boost one type color affinity. And having a type boosting color affinity versus a class boosting color affinity is way better, because then you don't have any negative effects when you don't want negative effects. So that's really good. So overall, I'd say this is a not worth it. I do really like the limit break, but the unit itself, just because it's a color affinity booster, not really going to use too often. I'd say no, but I could definitely see somebody trying to do it in the future. And I won't think less of you if you do it. Then next we have Aokiji. Aokiji is going to be a no healing. It does have a really cool ability where if you hit 2 perfects and your captain is a shooter character, it boosts the attack of shooter characters by 2 times in the following turn. So it makes it so you can actually bring a type boost into a room on a shooter team and not actually have to waste a special and keep your orbs you got from the previous room. So that's really, really cool. It's really good for fights where you have like special limiters, where you get limited how many specials you can use the boss room, which is really good. It's a very, very strong unit in general. The special abilities he gets is going to be, the limit break abilities is going to be boost HP of shooters and then boost attack of shooters. So basically he just gets boost HP and attack of shooters by 50. Overall, as a limit break ability, that's pretty good. Stat boosts are really, really nice. They're static. You don't have to worry about it. And he gets an additional socket. And the character overall is a very good unit. So overall, yeah, I'd say this is worth it. This is definitely one of those characters that's worth it. I don't know if you would get it right away, unless you're using shooters as your main team. This is probably one you can put on the back burner. But if you do have this unit, it's definitely worth doing. Next, we're going to have Sai Nekomamushi. All right, so we found a max limit broken Nekomamushi. He is going to reduce the damage taken by 7%. For Psy type damage, and I think it's for strength type damage as well. So he's going to reduce damage by strength and Psy, as well for his limit break, and he's also going to get rid of slot bind completely when he's at level 5. So that's really cool. he is going to gain 2 sailor abilities. First sailor ability is going to be a 75 attack to all strikers, and his second sailor ability is going to make int orbs beneficial for this character, so that is pretty cool. He's also going to get 1 cooldown off, so he's going to max at 10 turns, and he goes up to 1861 attack when he's fully penta-maxed as far as all the limit break goes. So I'd say overall this is definitely worth limit breaking. I personally, my opinion on Legends is that unless they're getting some kind of game breaking ability, they are, or something that is super good that can max really quickly, or a sailor ability that you're gonna use all the time, great. The thing with Nekomamushi is you're always using this guy as a captain, unless you really want a 10-turn Nekomamushi versus 11-turn Nekomamushi. I'd say this is a character you can actually hold off on. He's definitely one of the best characters in the game, but for my personal opinion, I think waiting on legendary characters is one of the better things to do because they take so many limit break crystals, and I think there's more characters that are worth limit breaking overall versus. It's 1 character versus 2 characters you can limit break when you talk about Legends versus other characters. So this is definitely one that is worth it, but you can wait. All right, next character we're going to have on the list is going to be a Fisher Tiger, which is going to be the rare Fisher Tiger. It was I think it was the first or the second character they did in the Secret Sugos, where he's going to boost the attack of powerhouse characters by 50 in his limit break and get an extra socket. Definitely worth getting. Super good unit. There's nothing wrong with this limit break. It's good. There obviously are characters that are better to get, but having an attack 50 a boost, if you do have this unit, really good. With the release of the new Sanji, if you wanted to do Sanji instead of this unit, I'd say that's good too. This character doesn't get any cooldown reduction. The fact he's on the 17-turn cooldown is the only thing I don't like about this character. But he does have that sailor ability where if any other character uses a special, it reduces his own cooldown. It's just like Moria, where if anybody else uses the special, then you get reduced cooldown. So, but it has to be a powerhouse character. So that means that his cooldown, if you used 1 other special before his, because you're only going to use like 1 or 2 other specials before him, it's actually like 16 or 15 turns. But you're not going to use all the character specials in your entire group before you use this character if you're using a Coliseum, because then you're going to be using that character close to the in room 4, not in room 5. So it's basically like a 15-turn cooldown at that point. So I definitely say this is worth it. I don't know if I would do this before Sanji though. I would do Sanji first and then this unit, and if I really had to make a choice. Next unit on the list is going to be the new Kid. It's going to be the, I don't know if we're calling him Log Kid or we'll just call it Secret Kid. Secret in-between Super Kid. He's going to boost the attack of striker characters by 75 and boost HP of driven characters by 75, which is really cool. Get an extra socket, all really good. I'd say because the sailor ability boosts the attack of striker characters, super nice. And the fact that you can use guys as a captain or a sailor is really cool. He's going to get Enrage and Slot Bind Duration, also really good. And he's going to get an attack increase of, looks like 90, which is going to put his attack all the way up to 14, 14, which is really good. He's going to get lots of HP on this character. Yeah, I'd say this is worth it. I don't know if I would do this early on, but I'd say this is definitely worth it in my opinion. I mean, definitely worth it. Next, we're going to go over Mr. Zero. Now, Mr. Zero Special, I initially thought was really good. I was really happy about Mr. Zero, and he actually, I don't like him as much anymore. The only thing I really like right now about Mr. Zero is that he actually has that special rewind mechanic where he is going to reveal to rewind his own special, which I think is really cool, and I like that part about him. But I haven't done anything with limit breaking his character. I had a choice, and I was like, nah. In his limit break, he gets 2 cooldown off, which is really nice. So he goes down to 13 turns, which is really nice. His initial sailor makes it so you rewind special by 2 turns if you get rewound. And this is gonna, I think this is gonna be recover 3 turns of silence. I believe that's what it says. Let me just double check that real quick. Yeah, it's sealed state. It's either orb seal or it's either 3 turns of orb seal or 3 turns of silence. I think it's silence. Yeah, it's a special ceiling. So I'm assuming that's what it is. And then he gets an extra socket, which is really good. He goes up to 5 sockets. Overall, there's no like stat increases you get from this character. He's a decent unit. but I'd say this character is gonna have niche usefulness. At some point, yes, this may be useful. Currently, wait. So for me, it's a no. Next is going to be Colo Orlumbus. Colo Orlumbus overall is a very cool unit, very hard unit to farm. Very, very difficult to use to farm. So he's going to max out at 15 turns normally, and he's going to get a 1 turn cooldown off on his limit break, so that makes him go down to about 14 turns. His stat increase is going to give him 90 extra attack and 200 extra HP, which makes he's going to go up to 1333 attack, which is okay. I kind of like that. His sailor abilities are going to be, he has one sailor ability, which is going to be, I think it's treating a different type of orb as beneficial. I don't know what color though. I think it's like int or TND or something. I'm not sure. Treat slots. That's helpful. Pretty sure that's his tandem. It's probably like a tandem slots is matching for this character. So I don't really think that this is going to be like a super useful limit break because his sailor ability is kind of and like there's no stat increases or anything like that. He's not like super needed, but he's limit break farmable. He does get limit break. He has damage reduction here for his first limit break ability, and the second one's crit. I don't really think this is going to be like super useful, but the crit, I don't know what it's going to max at. I think it's going to max at like 20 and 10, just like every other unit, but we'll see. But for me, this character gets a no. All right, next unit in the list, we're going to have Dex Usopp, which is going to be Legend Usopp. This is going to be the 6+ version of this Usopp. And I think the 6+ version and the normal version they both have the same limit break. Let me just double check that real quick. I'm pretty sure they do, though. I don't know how a 6+ would have different limit breaks than a non-6+. I'm pretty sure they're the same, though. Yeah, it seems like it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, so it's the same. Like I don't know why it would be different, but let's see. So his crit is really good. I do like this Usopp gets a good crit because it's 50% chance to deal 10% additional damage, which is really good. Overall in stats, he gets an extra 200 attack, which is really good. He's a legendary character because he goes really far in the limit break tree, which makes it so he's getting up to 1491 attack, which is really good. Makes him a little bit more useful. I do like that about this Usopp, the crit that he gets and everything. And for this character over for the 6+ version, he's actually going up to 1541 attack, which is really good as well. He's also going to boost the HP of shooters by 100 as his first sailor ability, which is kind of weird, but it's good. It's really useful for Stronghold Ace teams because then you're going to have every character have an additional 100 HP, which brings you up to 600 HP. And if you boost that by the 1.5 times the 1.5 times the 1.5, that's going to give you like a few thousand extra XP, which is kind of good. I do like that. There's no attack that you get as a sailor ability, which I was kind of disappointed about. I am kind of disappointed about that sailor not being attack as well. It's just HP. But overall, if you can getting the critical strike all the way to the max, if you could do that, that would be pretty cool. And if his barrier penetration is above 30%, which I kind of think is BS. I think it should be full, no matter what. Because there are legends that have no matter what, but he's at 30%, which I don't like. And then no healing duration, I think this should have been buffed. I don't know why this is so nerfed for the first 3 levels. They really screwed no healing duration over really, really bad in general. Overall, he's not going to get any cooldown, I don't think. He doesn't get an additional socket, nothing like that. He just gets stats, and that's really all Usopp, the really what you get out of this unit in general is that he is a stat booster off of GPU for God Usopp, and then the 6+ Usopp is really only useful in 2 fights in the entire game, more useful than anything else because they go through the immunity. But to be honest, I'd say that the 6-star version will definitely see the 6-star and the 6-star plus version will definitely see some use in getting a limit break. I don't think it's a priority, but I do think it's useful. So I'm going to give it a worth. All right. Next unit on the list we're going to do Wet Hair Caribou. This is the unit that just I can never get, man. I don't know what it is. Caribou is just never pull, man. I just cannot pull him. The one of the things with this limit break, he actually gets the nice thing about his character is he gets the additional socket, special cooldown reduction by 2 turns, and he gets a decent amount of stats. Not a lot of HP, just an extra 50 attack and some extra HP. But he does make recovery and TNB beneficial for this unit, which is kind of cool. It's definitely an interesting sailor ability to have. He does completely lose his paralyze already, and he already has really high attack. So he goes up to like 1534 attack, which is stupid good already, and that's really high for attack on any unit. So that means that he's going to go down to 14 turns. I'd say that is definitely worth getting 2 turns of cooldown reduction on this character, which was one of the biggest problem in general on this unit, is really good. He's one of the few units that has like massive amounts of combo hits. He's at 10 combo hits, which is really cool. It helps you break a lot of barriers and stuff, so that's really nice. Overall, he's a really good unit, and I think he is the one of the best combo hit characters in the game. I really wanted him for my combo hit team just for fun, but Funk Brothers is still a better captain, I think. And overall, pretty good. I think he's a pretty good unit. He's definitely worth. I'd say wait, because he's not one of those top tier like God limit break units. He's definitely a wait, but he's definitely worth it. All right, next going to be Fukaboshi, and Fukaboshi is going to be it has a limit break path. Thanks. From my knowledge on Fukaboshi is that he doesn't have any cooldown reduction. He's going to get an extra socket and some more stats. So this is from my memory on him, and I don't have Fukaboshi. I really wish I did. I don't have him on either account. He's going to increase his attack pretty heavily. It's like I think it's almost 100 attack you get on this guy from what I saw before. And I don't know what his passive abilities are, but he's already has an HP attack and recovery sailor ability. So if you really want the socket, great. But if you would limit break Timescape Brook, you could limit break this character. I mean, it's up to you. It's really up to you. This is kind of like one of those, yes, I think it's worth it, but it's kind of a back burner, but like lower than most, because he is really useful, but he's kind of old. And you don't use him on Striker or Powerhouse teams anymore because there is a better Striker booster, unless you can't use Nekomamushi. In which case, you use another powerhouse booster, which at least can't use that. Like, this is just one of those. I don't really find it useful that much anymore in units, but he's still a really good unit in general. So I'd say it's a wait, but maybe. Now Shirahoshi, 100% yes. This is, I think, if Lucy is the second best limit break in the game, Shirahoshi has the #1 limit break in the game. I did a showcase on this. Her limit break is just bonkers good. It's so freaking good. The first thing she gets is an extra 100 recovery, which may not sound like a lot, but it's a lot when you consider her captain ability. Now, her captain ability, if you did not know, is 5 times recovery at the end of your turn, which means it's 5 times 760, which is nuts. Which is really good. It's really good. All right, so this one right here is she has anti-heal recover. She has int damage reduction up to 7%, which is a little bit higher than normal, and gets rid of slot bind up to 10 turns, which is kind of cool. You don't really need to feed. The nice thing about Shirahoshi is you do not need to feed dupes to her to have her like be super overpowered. That's the #1 reason I really like her as a limit break, is because you actually don't need to feed dupes for her to be insanely powerful. She gets 1 cooldown off, and her sailor ability, holy crap, this is good. Okay, so her sailor ability makes it so every time you eat a meat orb, you heal for an additional 150. So that means in addition to getting 100 recovery on her character, which already boosts your recovery meat orbs by 1 time, 100, she's now just going to get a sailor ability that's going to do the exact same thing times 1.5. So basically on an NL team, she's bonkers. And as a captain, if you use double limit broken Shirahoshi, you're healing for almost 9,000 every single turn. Like, without any kind of stat or recovery boost on your characters, you're healing for 8,500 every single turn. If you do have like some kind of character that boosts recovery, you can heal for over 9,000 every turn. It's crazy. That means that you're getting 9,000 healing with the auto heal. It's so high. It is so high. Like, You just zombie through everything. Like, somebody hits you for 18,000, eat a meat orb, you're fine. 1 meat orb every 2 turns, no problem. And she reduces damage. Oh my god, she's so good. This is like the best limit break in the entire game. Like, I cannot believe how good this is. Like, I was so blown away. And you could, like, with the new recovery up meta, you can like put recovery up in your characters. I actually got a team that was healing for like almost 4k meat orbs with Shirahoshi in my Blackbeard Forest video. That was crazy. So definitely a worthwhile unit. Oh, it wasn't Blackbeard Forest. I think it was like I think I did it for Law Forest or something like that. Yeah, I think for Law Forest, we had for like almost, it was like 38, 50 meat orbs or something like that. It's crazy. So it definitely worth doing. Definitely a worthwhile character to limit break. It is a super, super good limit break. My opinion, the best limit break in the game. And the other thing that you get with the Shirahoshi is that you actually get attack on Shirahoshi. Like near the end, you're getting 70, 60, and 50 attack, which is 30 attack. So that's 160 attack you get on Shirahoshi, which may not seem like a lot, but her attack is like only 1,200 to start with. That means she goes up to 1,362, which it's not, doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually a lot. Like then you can actually put attack candies on Shirahoshi. Like I was actually considering putting HP candies on Shirahoshi, because she does get an extra 450 HP on here, and then I can put more HP on her. That would actually be pretty good. But now I actually have the option to put attack, which is really cool. So I haven't actually made a decision on whether I want to go attack or HP on Shirahoshi yet. I'm still on the fence, but now I have like weird options, so I'm still like trying to figure out what I want to do. So definitely worth doing. All right, guys. Well, that's going to conclude episode number 2 of Worth It or Not Worth It for limit breaking. I am Sekapoko, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do enjoy the video, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. And of course, have a great rest of your day. Peace.